Hello friends, it's Amy. I am back in The Sims 4 and today we're going to be taking a look at the very first house that I had built and uploaded to the gallery back in 2015. This is about 10 years old. I had just gotten The Sims 4 and I was so excited to be building, and this is what I came up with. And there's so many things that I'm going to fix. We're going to see if I can do it. So first, starting off, I think that at the time when I built this, I do remember this room was like not like that. And so the house was kind of like this. And so I wanted to extend the house. I ran out of room. So I decided to do that. And then I just added this fake wall here, I think to kind of pretend as if like it was supported and it like needed to be there. But now I just look at that and I think it's very cringe worthy and I don't like it at all. The roof is just horrible. There's so many things that I don't like about it. Like the eaves, I think are just, if I just adjust them and just bring them out just a little bit, I think that that makes this look a little, just a smidgen better. And also just like adjusting the height, like just maybe making that down a little bit, taking out this window that doesn't really need to be there. I think that looks like a smidgen better. But yeah, several things that I'm going to fix. We're actually going to take a look at the inside of the house. Overall, I think the floor plan is not too terribly bad for like the main area here. We have like the entrance and we have the kitchen, a dining room with a bar in the back, and then a living room off to the side. There's a fireplace. I think the main thing that I don't like about this part of the house is the color scheme. I think I have way too many colors going around and trying to pull it all together, but at the time I thought it looked good, but now I just don't like any of the colors that I used. And the biggest complaint I have about the layout of the first floor is there's no door to get to get to the back of the property. The only door is this one off to the side, which goes through the bedroom. So if you're going to go out to this, nice backyard, you either have to walk from the front of the house and all the way around, or you have to go through this bedroom, which would not make me happy if someone had to go through my bedroom all the time. There is a small bathroom off to the side, just don't really like the colors, and then a home office in the front as well. Again, the decor is okay, but it's more the color scheme that I just don't think vibes well with me and my standards for today. Upstairs, we have like a little seating area. I guess there's not really a TV or anything. There's just a couch, and then there's a door that goes to a balcony off in the back. And then we have the primary bedroom. So I feel like there's a lot of wasted space in this room. And again, the floor plan is just kind of weird. We have the bed on one wall, but then the TV is off to the side. So you wouldn't be able to like watch TV in bed, which I think a lot of people would probably do. And then the primary bathroom is so dark. I don't like how dark it is. I think if I just tried to like get rid of some of these blinds, I think it adds a little bit more light. It makes it look a little bit better. And the other thing that I noticed was this, this lovely toilet paper, like literally by like the floor. So you can, fix that. That makes it look a little bit better. But yeah, overall, not super impressed with this house. We're going to see if I can make it a little bit better. So as we head into the demolition part of the video, I'm just going to kind of talk a little bit about the rules that I had set for myself during this, I guess you can call it a challenge. So rule number one is I can't change any of the outside walls. So the house like shell basically is gonna stay exactly the same. I'm obviously removing all of the build by, or like the interior, all the decorations, all the furniture and everything. I can move the doors. I clearly am going to change the floor plan of everything, all new windows, but the outside walls have to stay the same. Now, I did give myself a little bit of some leeway when it comes to the porch or the deck. So the original deck of the house and the front porch is like rounded. And initially I just kind of changed that to like a square piece or whatever instead of the rounded tool. But I end up changing the front porch quite a bit. So I shorten it, but I also extend it to the full length of the house, which I think looks a lot better. So you can see me kind of messing around with that right now. It does change quite a bit from like where you see right now and then what the final product is in the end. I do, and the other thing that I do, which technically is not realistic, like if you're gonna buy a house and you're gonna remodel it in real life, you're not able to raise it on a foundation like I had just did, but I allowed myself to do that. The back patio or deck area does stay exactly the same in terms of size, but I do also round off that deck piece that is like rounded. I do square that off, so I think that looks a little bit better, just kind of fits the house a little bit better. The other challenge that I gave myself is obviously when this house was first built, it was back in 2015. I don't know if there was expansion packs at the time, but I did not have, I don't think there was because I think the game had just came out that fall. So this is base game only, and I decided to keep it that way. So anybody, all of the packs that I have, a lot of the content that I have, obviously after 10 years, I'm not able to use. So that definitely made it quite a challenge just right there, is making it still base game friendly. So yeah, it's I guess one of the things though too is, yes, it's still base game friendly, but The Sims has updated the game, base game, since this house was originally built. So there are a few things that were added to the game that were not available to me back then, but I did allow myself to use them because it's still base game friendly now. So I am attempting to do the roof. Don't worry. Obviously, you can see the screenshot at the end. I think the roof looks a lot better than like what you see me doing, but it's kind of interesting to see like the process. So roofing is always hard. I just kind of like take pieces and just try to like trial and error. And sometimes especially when roofing, I'll get to a point and I'll just think, okay, I kind of like this part, but I'm not too sure about this. So I'll end up just moving on and trying to do something else and then going back to it. And so I definitely do that a lot with the roof and then like the front portion of the house. So at first I was really trying to stick to the rule of not changing the porch at all and just kind of squaring off the rounded portion. But I just really felt that like you can change a porch. That's like something that's pretty easy to do, like if you were to really buy a house and remodel it. So I decided to allow myself to do that, but I struggled with that concept for a little bit. You can see I kind of shortened it and then I extended out again, really not quite sure what I want to do. And I think the best thing for this particular house was what I ended up doing in the long run, which was to shorten the porch but extend it to the full length of the house, which just makes roofing, I think, the house look a lot better. So now you can kind of see I finally am figuring out, okay, I need to put like a curved piece on this side just to kind of make it look like all one roof piece, but still kind of struggling with making it look good on all versions of the house. I wanted to have kind of like the gable in the front, but it just didn't look right. So I can't even actually remember how I did it in the end, but again, I'm frustrated with the roof, so I just kind of move on and start placing some windows. So some more stats, I guess I want to go over about the houses. So the original house, when I had built it, I think I technically have it listed as 2 bedrooms and 2 baths. Technically, you could have it be 3 bedrooms, but I do have one of the bedrooms furnished as the home office. And the original house is 100 and I believe 42,000 simoleons. So that was the first house that I did. And now the finished version is 3 bedrooms and 2 baths. And it also has a home office and like a hobby room. So there's like a lot more room in the second version of the house, but I don't actually add any square footage. It's just reworking the floor plan so it works better. And the new version is 151,000 simoleons. Both houses are built on a 30 by 20 lot. So pretty much have the floor plan kind of worked out. The windows, I obviously I started to paint the house pink. I definitely thought about doing a pink house instead of yellow. I'm not sure why. I actually, no, I do remember why. I wasn't too fond of the yellow color in this particular lot. I don't think it looks I think the color is kind of off. But I do build in a different lot, and I think that looks better on that lot. So I do keep the yellow color. You'll see most of the footage, the house is pink, but of course the final version is uploaded to be yellow. Finally working on the inside and in the interior. And I usually start with the kitchen. This is one of the items, this swatch of counter. I'm pretty sure that the swatch was available back in 2015, but the counter was available, but the swatch, the yellow swatch with the yellow cabinets and the white countertop, that was not available back when the game was initially released. So one of the things that I really wanted to try to do, but I wasn't able to accomplish, is I wanted to have the kitchen move its location. So if you remember the original house, this is kind of like where the kitchen was. I wanted to move that. I kind of, in my mind, like as I was building, you don't really see that, but I tried to make it in a different location, but I ended up keeping it there. I really wanted to flip everything around, but I think that just makes the most logical sense. The other thing that I wanted to try to do was move the stairs. The stairs pretty much stay in the same location as the original house, but one thing that was not able to be done when The Sims was first released is to have different shapes of stairs. So you can see off to the side I have like a L-shaped staircase, which I think looks really nice. Struggling a little bit with the kitchen layout. I end up taking a little bit of room from what will eventually be the home office and extending the kitchen out a little bit, which kind of makes that little eat-in dining room part of the kitchen a little bit more crowded. So initially I have like table and chairs off to the side on the other side of this room, and I had 4 chairs around it, but when I made the kitchen a little bit bigger, I felt like the dining room or that part of the eat-in kitchen was just a little bit more crowded. So I ended up taking a couple of chairs away and just have the 2 right there. But of course there is bar seating, or counter seating at the island, the little peninsula that comes out. And then there is a full dining room in the other room. So I felt like it was okay to just have like 2 little chairs in the kitchen. And then again, there's a full dining room that has, I think, seating for 6 there. So yeah, there's definitely plenty of seating areas for the Sims as they're eating their meals and preparing. I have 2 rooms off of the kitchen. One is going to be what is going to be furnished for the office, and the other is going to be a hobby room. The Sims had fairly recently updated where we got like the glass windows or glass walls, and I wanted to make like a sunroom, but I don't really feel like that look really looked well when I looked at it from the outside. It just doesn't fit the theme of the house. So I decided to save that for a little more, like another build for a different time. The home office is quite small. It's a pretty small room itself, but there doesn't really need to be a whole lot in there. It's just basically a computer desk. I do have a chair in there, but I end up moving that to the hobby room next door. So again, you don't really need a whole lot in the office area. So I end up moving that chair, I'm pretty sure. So just kind of debating on furnishing these 2 rooms because, again, I'm keeping in mind I only have base game items, so there's not really a whole lot of things to furnish this house with. So this ends up being what I'm going to call like the hobby room. There's like the woodworking table as well as an art easel and that little like tree in the corner that I think your Sims can use to, like, I don't know if it's a skill, but like to like do whatever they do, like cut it or whatever. I don't know. it's like a special thing that they could do with that tree. I believe so. And it's funny. I'll say this a million times. Like, I don't really play The Sims. I like to build. So a lot of the items, I don't even know what their like use or function is. I just place them because I think they look cool. So, but yeah, I am currently working now on the the dining room and also the living room. So I tried to put the fireplace on the initial wall that I have it on, and then just kind of using a platform to raise it up just to kind of showcase it. But the size of the fireplace that came with base game, I really only liked that one fireplace, a small, like 2 tile fireplace, and it didn't look right on that wall. So I ended up moving it to the other wall, which I think I like the location of the original side that I had it better, but I think this again just fits the house a little bit better. I place a TV over the fireplace, but I end up changing that. And I've never really done this in any of my builds before. So I liked the idea of having the window from the front of the house just for like curb appeal. You have like the front door, and then you also will have the window off to the side on the front deck or like porch. But from the inside of the house, I think it looks silly to have that like a window right above the fireplace. So I'll show you a little trick that I do in the end when we finally do the tour. I kind of just used like a painting and covered up the window. So from the front of the house, you can, like looking in from the outside, you can see the window, but on the inside, we kind of pretend that that window doesn't exist, and I just cover it up with a painting, which I've never really done before, but I thought it looked like the best and kind of was just keeping in the guidelines of the house itself. Because I thought about adding like an actual chimney in the front, but that would require, in my mind, like adding some walls, which I did not want to do. Another thing that I thought was interesting as I'm furnishing the dining room, since the original house had a bar, I wanted to keep a bar in this one. And also just because, again, there's not really a lot of furnishing options that you have. So I put the bar in the corner so it kind of is like facing the wall, but it's still functional. So your Sims can still go over there and make a drink. You just can't have anybody sitting on the other side of the bar. But that is pretty much the floor plan of the first floor. There is a small bathroom that you have access to from the living room. And now I am obviously going upstairs. So upstairs, we're going to see 3 bedrooms and then the 2 full bathrooms. And I kind of just start off with the main, like, primary bedroom that I figured that bedroom should have access to the deck on the upper level. So I give that room the access to that, and then I have a primary bathroom. And again, just kind of going around making sure that everything is going to fit, like making sure I have all the beds in a decent space and I like all the room sizes. And then I start to focus on furnishing the child's bedroom. So this is, kind of, I tend to make the kids' bedrooms, I think, kind of gender neutral. So using a little bit of some yellow and blues, obviously keeping in mind that the initial house, I think, was all like yellow on the outside. I wanted to keep with a yellow theme as I started to furnish the inside. So, but obviously with the kids' toys, you end up having like some other colors in there as well. But yeah, sizing up and down some of the toys. So this house is functional, but some of those toys, again, I am a builder, so I'm not really sure if they will like glitch. Some of them might, but I'm mostly just building this for the look of the house because I think it looks cool versus like function. I mean, it still functions, like all the main like bathroom, things all function, but, clutter when it comes to the kids' toys, especially, some of those might not always function properly. But now I am kind of going back to the bathrooms. You're going to see me essentially furnishing both of them at the same time. And that's mostly because I use a lot of the same objects. I just think it makes it look easier. And I wasn't quite sure, but yeah, I do pull the counters from the kitchen up into the bathroom, so I get a little bit of that yellow swatch. And yeah, we're pretty close to getting towards the end of this part of the video. You don't see me do any of the curtains or the interior walls, colors, or anything like that, or I don't think any of the landscaping. So we're gonna cut out of this and you're gonna end up seeing the tour in just a second here. But just kind of going back to the primary bedroom, I did change the furniture because I felt like the rest of it was too dark and I didn't like the way that it was looking. So I think it was yellow, but it was like too dark and I didn't really like that. So I changed that to like a lighter swatch. But yeah, we're going to be going into the tour here in just a second. So we'll see you for that part of the video. My favorite part of the video is the final product and tour. So already from the front, you can see the house looks so much better. The roof is all uniform, or at least it looks like, you know, if there was any like snow or rain, that, you know, you wouldn't have any leakage or roofing problems at least. It's still, I don't think, the best roof that I have ever come up with, but for this particular house, I think it looks pretty good. The backyard, I did keep the pool the exact same size, left it in the same place. I just extended the back fence and just made it like the full lot size, I guess, with just like a little back gate to go off to the side. And then this is how I kind of fixed this little area. So technically I didn't really cheat. There is a wall underneath there. I just put a spandrel on that portion of the wall and then just some columns. So it's still kind of supporting that section of the house that's jetting out. But technically I don't think I cheated. So because the wall's still there. I just covered it with a spandrel to make it look a little bit better. So looking in from the front door, and this is what I was kind of saying, like there is a window in the front. Technically, it just looks like maybe the curtains are covering it, but when you enter in from the house and we flip around, you can see I've kind of used the window frame to like cover up or I use like the window frame as well as a photo to like cover up the window. So so there's no curtains around that. So it's technically just supposed to look like a picture, which I know isn't really practical, but in The Sims you can kind of cheat that way. So this is obviously the living room. We're going to head into the dining room. You can see it all nice and furnished with the yellow colors pretty much I've used throughout, as well as the furniture. Let's see, I do have a toddler high chair, which was not available when The Sims first came out because there was no toddlers available, actually, which is crazy to think. We are now in the kitchen, and another thing that was not available was this nice yellow subway tile. Definitely was not base game, or wasn't available when The Sims first came out, but is available now. And then we're going to kind of look at these two rooms together because they don't really change much. The only thing that I really did was just put some, you know, the curtains and the wall coverings or paintings, and then, you know, a little bit of some more decor. But overall, that part kind of stays the same from the initial part of the video that you had seen me do. So we're going to head up the stairs. There's a small hallway, not really much to see there. The first room that you had kind of already seen majority of was this toddler bedroom. Again, you just didn't get to see the colors that I had chosen for it. And then some of the wall decor that I decided to put in there. I skipped over, or I guess I didn't have any footage of me furnishing this bedroom, so that's why I obviously didn't really talk about it, but I do have it furnished as like a double, like a bunk bed, which again was not available when The Sims first came out. And then we have like a little desk in the corner with some other kids' clutter. And then the primary bedroom, I'm definitely glad that I used the whiter color bed frame and just used the yellow color walls. I think that looks really good. I did not like the darker color that I initially had. And then we have a bathroom for both the primary bathroom and then one upstairs for the children as well. And then the primary bedroom has access to this back covered like a deck area, which obviously looks out to the rest of the back of the yard. So that is basically it, guys. Let me know what you think. Did I do a good job? And let me know what I should build next. See you guys for the next video.